Well, hey guys, welcome back to the Made in Carroll podcast. I'm Jason Stamball.
I'm Steve Lowe.
Not really, I'm Steve Lowe, and this is...
I'm Dennis Twig.
Right on.
Right,
and Jason is not here today, so we're going to try to do this without him. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit nervous because neither one of us are really Jason, but we're going to do the best we can.
We're baby birds pushed out of the nest.
We are.
We're
sinking fast right now. I feel like we're plummeting toward the ground, but we are at Pub Dog Brewery in Westminster, Maryland. And we are going to get a tour of this magnificent, this is really quite, it's larger than I thought.
It's pretty extensive, but they don't just let anyone in here.
They don't let anyone in here. And tell them who we're going to meet today.
We meet George Humbert.
Right.
He's the
Brewmaster?
master brewer.
Right.
Brewmaster, whatever the nomenclature is.
Right. So
let's show us around.
We ready to go?
Ready to roll.
Let's go. Let's go
do
see
it.
him. Let's go find George.
Authorized personnel
Yeah.
only.
I don't know.
Authorized.
I don't know if we're authorized. There's somebody. George,
hey guys.
How you doing, man? I'm Steve.
George.
This is Dennis.
Dennis, nice to meet you.
George,
Come on
man.
in. Welcome.
Thank you for welcoming the Made in Carroll Season 2 podcast.
Sure.
This place is not at all small.
No.
Big, a lot of stuff going on here.
What are these?
Empty kegs.
Empty kegs.
Yep.
That's what you ship the good stuff in.
That's what exactly we ship
Yeah,
all our beer out of here in.
This is enormous. I had no idea you did this kind of volume here. This is not like a small operation.
Yeah, so this building actually was the original Carroll County Foods facility.
Oh.
How long ago was that?
30, 40 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
Wow.
So we've been here approximately 11 years, going on 12 years now. And it's a great building for a brewery.
Oh my
All right.
gosh, yeah, this is a huge volume operation compared to what we're used to seeing.
Show us the way, George.
Yeah, so where we are right now, this is our raw material storage. These are all our malts that we use for making beer. We get our malts from Germany. We get malts from United Kingdom.
Wow.
And we get malts from the U.S. So we go through over 100,000 pounds of malt per year.
Outstanding.
And, yep, this is one of the 4 ingredients to make beer.
All right.
Why don't you show us where the magic happens?
Yeah,
All right,
I
let's
think
go.
there's something magical in here.
Step through the curtain.
Wow.
So this is the production brew house. Just to give you a little detail, this is a 15-barrel brew house, about 500 gallons in size. In a day, we produce about 1,000 gallons of beer. So we'll do 2 batches of the same beer in a day. Takes about 14 hours to make 1,000 gallons of beer, which is about 10,000 beers.
Okay. I appreciate that because I don't drink beer by the barrel usually. So if I can think in terms of bottles or pint glasses, that's very, very helpful. So show us the basic process. How does this all work?
Yeah, so making beer is not really a complicated process.
Okay.
If you've ever made bread and you've made coffee, a little bit of both of those 2 processes.
Okay, I have made one of those things.
Okay.
Does that Keurig count?
No, a little more complicated than that. But basically, it's sort of a combination of those 2 processes.
Okay.
Basically, beer has 4 principal ingredients: malt, which you saw in the warehouse, hops, water, and yeast.
Okay.
The first process of making beer is basically like making a giant pot of oatmeal. We combined milled barley and hot water, basically make a big batch of porridge.
And where does that happen?
Happens right here in the mash kettle.
Mash kettle 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a process that takes about 2 hours. And we are basically, what we're trying to do is convert the starch in the barley to a fermentable sugar. This is sort of like making the coffee process, like French press. You're kind of stirring everything together and sort of letting a natural reaction occur.
Okay, then what happens?
Next part of the process, we transfer the mash over here to the lauter tun, which is basically like a giant coffee filter.
Okay.
And it's very similar to making coffee. We let the liquid kind of come through. There's a filter or a false bottom. The malt, the mash all stays in there, but the water, what we want to extract is the fermentable sugars in the liquid.
Okay.
Transfers over just by gravity over to the brew kettle. This is where it gets a little bit different from coffee. We then bring everything to a boil. That's when we add hops.
Okay.
We've got this very sweet liquid in the kettle, and we want to offset that sweetness with bitterness. Depending on how much,
right.
how many hops, how much volume, and when we add the hops, you get different levels of bitterness.
What does it taste like before you add the hops?
Tastes like sweet tea.
Okay.
Very sweet tea.
Is there a market for that product?
Yeah, there's a soda actually called Malta.
Okay.
You can get it actually in the international, aisle at the grocery store.
Interesting. Okay.
It's made by Goya.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Malta. It's a very.
But we're not selling Malta here, so
no,
we're
not.
add the hops.
That is basically unfermented beer soda.
Okay.
It's not. There's no hops to it, so it's very sweet. So then the next step, we add our hops. We want to get some bitterness to balance off this out the sweetness. We will then boil for about 90 minutes.
Okay.
We then basically will then whirlpool. We'll leave all the hops in the kettle, just like if you make loose leaf tea. You want all the tea to settle in the center of the cup. The liquid we transfer, boiling liquid, out of the brew kettle through a heat exchanger down to 72 degrees. We'll transfer here into one of these 4 fermenters.
Okay.
And the last step is to add our 4th and final ingredient, which is yeast.
Okay.
The yeast does 2 things. It produces carbon dioxide and it produces alcohol. Those are its 2 main jobs.
Big jobs.
Yes.
Very important job.
So that's where it basically turns into beer.
Okay.
Is the yeast.
And how long is it in here for?
7 days.
7 days. And then it's ready?
It's not ready yet.
Not ready.
From there, we actually will collect the yeast, transfer it to the batch of beer we'll brew the next week. So we will reuse our yeast or repitch the yeast for 6 or 7 generations.
Okay.
So we can reuse our yeast. It's similar to like a sourdough starter.
Okay, right.
As long as you keep it going, it'll stay happy.
Okay. And then, when does it make it to the keg and get shipped out of here?
All right, we got a couple more steps here. From the fermenter, we'll transfer to a conditioning tank over there. Where basically we're looking for is to clarify the beer just by sedimentation, and we also start dropping the temperature from 70 degrees down to 32 degrees. We want the beer to get cold, we want the yeast to drop out to the bottom, the flavors will sort of mature and improve. It'll stay in the conditioning tank about 2 weeks.
So you said 10,000 beers are made in a day.
Yes.
How many days are you cranking out that much beer?
We are in brewhouse production about 2 days a week, and then the other 3 days a week we do cellar work.
So you're still 52 weeks a year doing 20,000 beers. That's a lot of beer drinkers you're taking care of.
Yeah, we are definitely we're busy.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this? How did this start for you?
So I grew up, I guess as a teenager, started working in like snack bars and restaurants, and I learned to cook when I was probably 10 or 11. And then as simple as I called up a buddy one day and said, "What are you doing today?" And he said, "I'm making a batch of beer in my kitchen." And I said, "I'm coming right over. I got to see this." So that was 25 years ago.
Okay.
And so I started making beer in my friend's kitchen, made it, first batch. It tasted okay. I mean, I was coming from college where I was really not drinking really good quality beer anyways, so
it's good enough. Right?
But I was intrigued at the process. I'm like, this really isn't that complicated. So we made a couple more batches of beer in his kitchen, started to learn a little bit, read some books, did that for a couple years, and then I got lucky to get hired on at a brew pub in Gaithersburg, Maryland, where I sort of apprenticed under an Anheuser-Busch brewmaster for 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
So that's where I sort of learned my professional chops.
And after that, it was off to the races?
After that, we opened Pub Dog, or Thirsty Dog, in Baltimore City in 2001.
So there's some food element there you kept too.
Yes. So we wanted to keep it simple, pizza and beer, nothing complicated. When we first opened the pub, we were actually contract buying beer from another brewery. The building that we had in Baltimore was too small to put in a brewery.
Okay.
So we were buying our beer. We then had the opportunity to buy this facility in 2005, which was already up and running.
As a brew house?
Yes, as a
Okay.
brewery. Yep.
Nice.
So that was.
But you did a lot of work.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work since we've been here. But it was a great, the bones of the brewery were great when we got here, and we just sort of, expanded it a little bit and increased production.
So where does this beer all go?
So most of the beer goes to the pub in Baltimore, and there's another pub in Columbia. And then we have a tap room here at the brewery now, which will open full time.
We'll open that in a minute.
Yes. We'll
Open it for us, but for the public.
Right. It's going to open to the public very, very soon. We just we got our final licensing from Carroll County actually just recently.
Nice.
So.
All right.
All right, well, let's go taste some of this
Let's
beer. I'm
take some of
excited.
this Pub Dog beer,
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This season of the Made in Carroll Show is sponsored by the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber has promoted a sound economic environment for the local business community since 1924. By building relationships and forging personal connections, the Chamber creates a stronger business community. This past year, the Chamber hosted events like the Carroll County Public Safety Awards, the Outstanding Teacher Awards, the Small Business Awards, the Carroll Biz Challenge, and the Drug Expo. The Carroll County Chamber of Commerce exists to showcase what's truly made in Carroll. You can learn more about the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce by visiting them online at www.carrollcountychamber.org.
All right. You guys ready for a beer?
Yes.
Ready for 2 to 3.
Yeah.
All right.
Lunchtime.
It is lunchtime.
This is my lunch.
We're going to start out with an IPA here. IPAs are probably the hottest category in craft beer. This is our Imperial Dog IPA. It is a year-round production. It's most IPAs are focuses on hops. This beer has 5 different hops in it. It's about 6.8% alcohol. And I'll give you a taste here and talk about it a little bit.
How many kinds of hops generally go in a beer? Is 5 or 6 a typical number?
It depends. You can have a beer with 1 hop. Mm-hmm. You could have a beer with 40 different hops. Mm-hmm. Designing a beer is, all what you're kind of looking for. Mm-hmm. So my typical philosophy in designing a beer or coming up with a new beer is it should be drinkable. No matter if it's a light beer, medium beer, dark beer, strong beer, like anything. It's got to be drinkable. Mm-hmm. So I kind of look for, what am I going for? I kind of say, all right, this is how I want it to taste, and then you kind of build it, and hopefully you get there.
Right.
So we do have a pilot system here at the brewery, which will, when we come up with new beers, new ideas, things like that, we'll brew a 10-gallon pilot batch.
Right.
It's a lot easier to kind of...
You don't want to be wrong with 10,000 beers.
Right. Exactly. You don't want to be wrong with it.
So Dennis, what are you tasting here? It's hoppy, but not overly hoppy to me.
Well, I think the drinkability really comes into play because it's a lot of it's got that distinct IPA taste, but it's not something that's like overpowering. It would stop you from having this with food or anything else.
Right.
So.
And the 5 hops that we're tasting, what are they?
So the principal hops are Simcoe and Citra, and those are American-grown hops. They're sort of the new generation craft hops. And there's also some Columbus, Centennial, Amarillo, and one more hop. No, that's the 5th hop. Yeah,
You can just blur out the. You can blur
We
out
know,
whatever you
right?
remember.
So if there were 10 hops, would it be more hoppy, or is it a part of the process of?
Is the ratio of hops or the
Yes.
number
Does it make
of hops?
what makes it more hoppy?
Just more quantity of hops.
Just more quantity.
More quantity of
Right.
hops. So in this beer, there's probably, I'm going to say in 1,000 gallons, there's probably 50 pounds of hops.
Okay. Excellent.
In a light beer that we make, there might only be 10 pounds of hops.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just more hops equals more bitterness.
Got it.
You sort of change the complexity by adding more hops. So hops are like spices. If you're going to say make a tomato sauce and you want to put in basil, oregano, thyme, when you start adding more spices, you start getting more flavor. So and
Well
it'll
said.
change a little bit.
And is this like one of your top sellers, or how does it fall into the hierarchy?
It is. It's definitely one of our top sellers. Hoppy beers are definitely popular. People come in and
Has this been the same recipe for the past decade, or have you tinker with it, or like is it locked in place? This is the Imperial.
For the most part, our recipes are pretty much standard. They only change if the ingredients sort of change from year to year. I mean, we're dealing with agricultural ingredients, so they do change from season to season. Occasionally, we will go through periods where we can't get certain varieties of hops. There's either a shortage or they're just not available. So we have had to make some adjustments in the past, but because of there was a big hop shortage in 2007, 2008 in the U.S. So we had to make some new adjustments. But it was great because we were introduced to some newer varieties of hops that we have been using ever since then.
All right,
so.
cool. All right, so this is the IPA. What else do you got for us?
Well, we're gonna try some seasonals here. We've got a maple pecan brown. So
Maple pecan brown. I hate
yeah.
to waste that. Okay.
since this is for testing purposes, we don't cry over spilled beer.
I was gonna say if I drank 3 of those, it would be a tough drive home.
Yes.
So I was gonna say we're gonna need another glass or something.
I gotta say, George is a little more generous on the taste than some of our previous episodes.
Well, it's a full thing. So
Yes.
if you like it, you just gotta drink it fast
Right.
for this one. 'Cause we got 2 more. We got one more after this too. So this is a seasonal.
This is a seasonal, yeah. In fact, this is a brand new seasonal. First time we debuted it is this year.
And so when did it start and when does it stop production?
It starts, we try to release a new seasonal once a month.
Oh wow. Okay, so you got a lot of seasonals.
That's aggressive, is it not?
And
Four
we're
seasons.
going to get even more aggressive
the
this
head on
year.
Creamy.
But
You can really smell the maple in it.
yeah, so we used
You can really taste the maple.
Yeah. Yeah.
most of our beers, we're using natural ingredients, so maple syrup. It just goes into the brew kettle, and it's a fermentable sugar.
10 to 50 pounds of hops was
Yeah.
the one thing. What is the maple syrup content of a beer like this comparatively?
I think we used about 5 gallons of maple syrup in this
Okay.
beer. So
And then I'm fascinated just by
Yeah.
the hop thing. So
Yeah.
what's the hop ratio on this one?
Yeah,
this is
this
not
one-
very hoppy.
exactly. So this beer might have 5 pounds of hops.
Tastes like breakfast almost.
Yeah.
You know?
This is why I hesitate to say breakfast beer.
Pour this
but
over
here
my
we are.
pancakes.
So I wanted to give you
it's,
the sort of
it's actually delicious though.
Oh, it's
I
great.
think it's fantastic.
So I wanted to give you the contrasting flavors in those 2 beers. Was we tasted a very hoppy beer to start. Now we're tasting a sweeter beer.
This is great. It is as advertised, and but this is something that you're only going to have around. Well, you brew it for a month. How long does it last if you're interested? in it?
Usually lasts about 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay, so you
Okay.
got to get it while it's hot.
You
though.
got to
It's
get it while it's out. And we typically, like right
People aren't
now,
going to be able to get it by the time this
I know.
podcast
It's
happens.
unfortunate.
But we're liking it.
Yeah.
but this beer, so we're brewing, our seasonals typically also reflect the season. So we're brewing the stronger, the darker beers in the wintertime. We're brewing the lighter,
Sure.
less hoppy.
So what's next after this one?
So next is going to be our oak-aged IPA. That's actually, we're going to be releasing that in a week.
So that's not even out yet. That's just,
Not even out yet.
Okay, so Oak Age IPA will probably be around when this
Right.
podcast.
Yeah, it was
drops.
in one of the tanks that we walked
Okay.
by today.
So we were witnessing the birth of the Oak Age
Yes.
IPA.
Yep.
Is this your first time doing this one or not?
Yeah, first time doing this one. Yep.
Okay.
And this beer we developed on our pilot system last year. So
So you just made 10 gallons, got the thumbs up from everybody, and
Yep.
now it's a big boy on its
now
own.
it's a 500-gallon batch.
Okay.
Okay, so it's only 500 gallons.
Right. For our seasonals, we'll do smaller batches, just so we can rotate them a little bit more.
Sure.
So
This is outstanding. So what do we got for number 3?
number 3, we got our chocolate oatmeal stout.
You
which
want to
is,
give it up?
I was hoping
I
there
can
could,
get you-
there could be another glass because
I can get you a new glass.
I drink sissy beer, man, and this
Okay.
is really good.
I can get you another glass. It's not a problem.
I might just hang out here a little after. And just,
We'll see if George and I have work to do, but we're just going to linger.
well, I see how it works. I can help myself, right? Is that
You
that's what it
can. We'll put you to work back here.
So what do we have up next?
So this is our chocolate oatmeal stout. This is actually one of our perennial seasonals. We've been brewing this for about close to 10 years now.
So it's a seasonal, but you do it every season.
We do it every season, yes.
Gotcha.
So it is an oatmeal stout. So most of our beers are predominantly malted barley. We do use some other specialty grains, oatmeal.
So there's actually
Flaked
oatmeal
oats.
in here.
There
Flaked
is.
oats.
Flaked oats, yep. So we will use flaked oats, which give the beer a nice creaminess.
It's actually gorgeous. I don't know if you can get a shot of that, but man, that's
I'll
Yeah.
switch.
that's gorgeous.
It's a
switch
solid
with you.
pour. It looks like
I
it
actually
looks
don't
like consistency on the head looks like, and the body looks kind of like Guinness. I don't know if that's like, I don't know enough about beers to know if that's
Yeah.
like ignorant or insightful comment.
It's like beautiful. I don't want to mess with it, but I gotta try it. So
No, it's true. So we run this through a stout faucet, which sort of it gives it a creamy pour. We're looking for a real like lacy head on the top.
what am I tasting there? It's
Chocolate?
chocolate and oatmeal, but I wouldn't associate it as chocolate or oatmeal. It's something else.
There's
It's
also
really quite good.
so we use roasted cacao nibs.
I was going to say something roasted. I was going to say that, but I didn't trust my palate.
We're
We're learning something.
So there's quite a bit. What gives it the dark colors? We use a percentage of roasted malts,
Okay.
which are basically like the espresso sort of equivalent in malt. It's malt that's been roasted at high temperature. It's very dark, and that's what gives it the color.
This is like a meal, and then this is dessert.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's great.
So this is a very our popular winter seasonal.
Yeah, it's interesting because like between the maple and the chocolate, you both have sort of like a sweet connotation. But like because it's a chocolate stout, you're not saying this is a sweet beer. This
Right.
is this is like a
not.
big-bodied beer, I guess you'd
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
It's full body beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
No doubt.
this beer is about 6.5%.
So George, tell us a little bit about what's coming up for you guys in 2018.
So we're going to be expanding our taproom operations here. Starting in the spring, we'll be open full time,
Okay.
starting very soon, which is great for us. So people will be able to come in, sample beers. We're going to offer tours on a more regular basis.
So you think that'd be like evening hours? Like what would your guesstimated hours going to be?
Yeah, so we really haven't formally set them yet. Really, it'll probably mostly dependent on the weather. We're going to have a beer garden outside. That obviously
wow.
will be dependent on weather.
Nice.
And
Is there a beer garden anywhere? I guess you could say there's some outdoor
Yeah, there's outdoor-
patios, but
yeah, but I don't know
I don't
what-
think anyone would call it a beer garden.
I'm not sure what the difference between beer garden
We're
and
going to say you're
patios.
the only beer garden.
Okay.
We're going to say you're
I'll
the
take it.
trendsetter.
Yeah. All
that's
right.
great.
All right. So we can look forward to that opening in spring, summer.
Yes, spring.
Awesome. And then if somebody wants to buy some of this outstanding beer, how do they do it? They just show up here?
Yep,
Is there-
you can come by. We fill growlers, which are these glass to-go containers. It's a term basically from Prohibition. 32, 64-ounce growlers. You can buy beer. We fill them right here at the taps. You can take them home. And you can also come and...
And so it's $12 or $20 for a brand new growler, but then you
Yep,
bring it
yep.
back and you get it a little cheaper.
yeah, 15 for the refill. And you
That
can also...
seems to be a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah. So 64 ounces, I mean, that's
15
over
bucks.
5 beers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Man, George, thank you for taking some time out of your. I know you're a busy day. You're making beer back there, man. It's like you're cranking it out. You took some time out for us to give us some really outstanding beer. I'm going to move over to my dessert here once we're done this. But I just, on behalf of Made in Carroll, we just want to thank you for your time and giving us this beer.
Yeah, and it's all the great and wonderful things that are made right here in Carroll County,
Right here.
Maryland.
So officially, thank you for making something fantastic.
Thank you.
Right here in Carroll County, Maryland.
My pleasure. Enjoyed
Thanks,
it.
man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Made in Carroll show. This episode was hosted by me, Steve Lowe, and my good friend and colleague, Dennis Twig. The audio, the video, and really everything you experienced in this episode was produced by 127 Creative. As you can see, they really can create and communicate everything. To learn more about the Made in Carroll show, visit us online at madeincarroll.com. You can find our videos on Facebook and YouTube and listen to our podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Thank you again to the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this entire season. And thank you to the backers of our Season 2 Kickstarter campaign. You guys know who you are. Thank you so much for helping us make something awesome right here in Carroll County, Maryland.